Hey, you guys, it's Dr. LaTracey, and I have the honor to be here with my favorites, right? Uh, I'm just going to be me because that's all I know how to be. Because if not, then I'm going to forget and come back again later. So, this is Mama Ellie, and this is Valerie, my sister. And the fun thing is that it's all Valerie's fault. And that's where I'm going to stick to this whole night. You see our eyes got big? Yes. We are here to share our truth, the breast cancer stories. Valerie came to me a couple of weeks ago and said, it's time. We have to share our candid conversations, our truth about things that we really go through, the things that we really don't share, the things that are not necessarily public information, the things that you don't hear about in church, that politically correct conversation about breast cancer and about life, not just breast cancer alone, but about life. But this was one of the subject matters that she wanted to touch on, and I obliged. And she asked me to get out of bed, so I did. Yeah, I know I'll be in bed. But I wanted to give you a little background. Many of you know me as a person who speaks on so many different platforms, has these books, these accolades, and things like that. But recently, I have been truthful about what I go through. And breast cancer has not been something that I publicly came out and said in the fullness. But the C word is not always cute. Let's, let's just say it like that. And so I am honored that 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago, January of no, that was
year.
in
It's
20.
been a year.
It's been a year. Oh my goodness. See, that's one anniversary I'm not trying to remember.
You know?
But I remember when I had my surgery to remove cancer out of my right breast. And it's crazy when I tell people that they say, oh, well, let me see. Right? A lot of people don't know how to be politically correct. They don't know how to respond. They don't know how to engage with people. And it's funny that tonight, without even communicating about it beforehand, we all ended up being cheetah girls.
We will forever be known as the cheetah girls.
Yes. And so I am going to ask a couple of questions. But before we get started, I want Mama Ellie to introduce herself, and then we're going to move on to Val.
Well, I am Ellie Dildy. I am a breast cancer survivor. I am an in spite of and because of person. I'm a warrior. That's about it.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Valerie Smothers. I'm a mother of four. I am a breast cancer survivor, stage 2, ductal coronis. I think I said it right. Coronis. Ductal coronis, stage 2. Prognosis triple negative. It was not genetic, and I am a survivor and a conqueror through God. And I'm here to tell my story.
Yay! So, Mama Ellie, you didn't tell. Oops, I pushed you on mute. Sorry, sweet. You didn't tell your diagnosis.
Oh, yeah. I was diagnosed in 2017. I was getting ready for church one Sunday morning. And, I was taking care of all of the cute little things that women do before we go out. And I felt a lump. And so I immediately, the next day, called my primary care provider. And I was diagnosed later on that week with hormone replacement. It's a result of hormone replacement. It's amazing because I can remember so much, but I can't remember the diagnoses. I remember it was caused by hormone replacement, but that's it. once they found the lump in my left breast, the lump under my left arm left. So it was only contained in my left breast. I was blessed to have something called tumor infiltration cells, so that when my body saw that cancer was there, it surrounded it. And I just thank and I praise God that it was found in time. And that I always say that TIC was not the cells, it was the blood. It was
My
the
God.
blood. It was blood.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, who was your first call after you?
My daughter in Mississippi. I called her snotting, crying, mad as fish grease that the devil had the unmitigated gall to come at me again. I didn't want to hear any Christianese. I was not speaking Christianese. I was ticked. And that's usually the way I am when life tries to throw something at me. I just knuckle up right away. But she didn't let me stay there. LaTracey listened to me. And she didn't try to speak prophetically. She just listened. And I thank God for that. No judgment, just listen.
Yeah. So for those who are watching, I want to encourage you. It's a lot of people out there, whether you're dealing with a diagnosis of cancer or depression or anxiety or anything. Find one trusted person.
That's
at
right.
least. And if you don't have one, call me. If you text me, I'm not going to answer because I don't hear it. But but if you call me, I'll answer and I'll listen. No judgment. And regardless to the title. And that's what people
right.
That's what people fail to realize. You can believe in God all day, every day. When you get that call, when you get that diagnosis,
that's right.
When they send down here in Mississippi, they send you a piece of paper in the mail and tell you to come back to the doctor. Because I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to call me. But Valerie, how did you find out? Who was your first? How did you find out about the diagnosis? Did they call you? Did they send you a letter?
Oh, well, what happened was my OBGY. He called me. He said, the nurse called. She said, Valerie, I just had my annual. She said, Valerie, well, we got some good news and some bad news. And I said, well, okay, I know I gained a little weight, so I thought that was the bad news. You know, my cholesterol was a little high. I'm like, okay. She said, well, could you come into the office? I said, well, yeah, okay. And when she said that, I knew something was wrong. But the crazy part about it, because when I went to the doctor, the earlier part of the week before, the end of that week, I was walking with my first lady, and I said, they found the mat. And she said, oh my God. And instantly she started praying for me. And so, you know, and she said, it's well. I said, okay. And so when I went to the doctor, he sat down and he talked to me. Dr. Chris has been my doctor for like 17 years. He was like, Valerie, you got the nasty C and it's going to be okay. And if you need to call somebody, I said, no. I said, I'm good. He said, okay. I said, God knew that he needed a vessel and he needed a voice, and why not me? And because the Lord had already showed me something was coming. I didn't know what it was, but he already let me know that something was coming. And so he said, well, okay. So he looked at me again. He said, you sure you don't want to call nobody? I said, well, he with me right now. He was looking around. He said, somebody with you? I said, the Lord. And so I think I kind of messed him up with my response, you know, because I had been through so much. And like, when something get ready to happen in my life, it's God always show me in a dream. If someone comes to aware me that something is getting ready to happen. So like with that, I never had to trust God or even believe in God in the way that I believed in him.
That's right.
With cancer. You know, it was so amazing because I never rested in I rested in God, but I never just really rested in him. Psalms 91, he that abided in the secret place of the Most High. and just laying in his wings and saying, God, you know what? You in control of this. It was almost as if I was comatose. You know, I would have family members and friends. You okay? It's well. You know, like because I see so many people that go through so many things, and because they go through these different things, they allow the enemy to control their minds, and you get so emotionally caught up into what you're going through, you forget to trust God. So I just thank God that my soul was anchored in the Lord, because it could have went another way.
That's right. That's right. Praise God.
I'm grateful not only for the both of you but that we all went through it. And a lot of people are not going to understand that. So let me explain. When I decided to move here to Mississippi from Minnesota 11 years ago, Mama Ellie was one of the first people that I told. You see, she
Broke
still
my
not
heart. Broke my heart.
And yet, she didn't want to let me go, but she knew that it was an assignment that was attached to my life that I had to fulfill down here in Mississippi. And then when I moved here, Val was one of the first ladies that I met because our children connected in school and they grew up together, and they're probably getting ready to party together right now. But I'm just saying, you know, we love them young adults. And yet, you don't have to talk to people every day.
That's right.
You don't have to text people every day to know that you have a connection with them or that they're going to have your back.
Mm-hmm.
When the brain tumor returned, when they said it was cancer, I was like, wait a minute, what? I was in the middle of a divorce. They knew, but the world didn't know. Mm-hmm. And just like Chad Boswick, when he passed, no one knew that he even had cancer.
That's right.
And people didn't even know that I had breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Only time they knew was when I came out the house, and these right here, they know stuff, even when I don't tell them. And that one in the middle, where you at? Where you going? I'm running to the store. For what? Nobody else is here to go to the store for me. And you know, and you can't tell everybody that you're going through stuff, because not everybody's going to treat you the same way. And I want to just ask, how did your family treat you? Because we're all believers, and even though we're believers, when we go through stuff, we handle them different. You know, mm-hmm. we may have some different emotions, but can either one of you tell me and the audience, you know, how did your family respond?
I was blessed because my biological daughter here just took over. She allowed me to process. She allowed me to process my way, and she kept church folks away. Because at that time, I still wasn't there. And about a week of processing, I started to come around and I started to hear God. But it took me a minute. Called a meeting for my siblings and my mom and dad. And there were tears, but you keep saying something, Valerie, and you keep saying, it is well. That was my story. It is well. I heard, it is well. It is well. And God told me not to worry about the reaction of my family. They were going to react however way they were going to react. But this was a walk that was strictly between me and him.
My God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually left the church.
My family, they were very supportive. All of them, they were very supportive. My mom, my dad, and all of my sisters and my children, they were like right there. And I went to my sister's house to stay with my sister because I just went, because my kids were in school, and I just had my youngest son and my little niece at the house with me. And I said, well, I'm just going to go to my sister's house. And so I went to her house, And when I went to her house, I was like, the Lord said, get up and go home. And I said, well, God, you want me to go home like this? It's just, I ain't been but 3 days out of surgery. I got to go home. And so I said, well, okay, God, I'm going to go home. And so I was just sitting there looking at my sister because she was doing everything she could to try to, accommodate me. And so the next morning I got up and I said, Lisa, I had a visitation. And she said, okay. And I said, could you take me because my car had broke down. I said, could you take me to get a rental car? She said, you going to rent a car, Val? I said, yes. I said, the Lord told me to go home because this what I'm going through is between me and him. And he said, if I had stayed at my sister's house, I wouldn't be able to trust him the way I trust him. And he needed me to be alone with him so he can download some stuff into me. He needed me to be alone with him so I can know him like I've never known him before. And it was an amazing place to be. I was some hurt days, some bad days, but to be in the presence of the Lord was just a blessing, and some stuff I didn't understand, but I said, God, I'm going through this. And sometimes I felt as if I was comatose and God was just carrying me and I was just resting in his arm. And my baby came home and I had just had chemo. So sad. I was trying to go to the bathroom and I was throwing up and everything. And she said, Ma, get up. Mom, I'm not used to you being like this. You're strong for everybody. And I was just looking at her. I said, okay, baby. Mama can't get up now. So she just had to leave the house because it hurted her so bad because she never saw me in that vulnerable stage. The only thing I could do was just cry out to God because that's all I know. He was my source. He was my plug. He my everything. That's all I am. And so I'm just in the flow. Jesus, like a little bit of me. I trust you, God. I don't know what this for, but it's not for me. It's for somebody else.
It's for someone else. Yes.
So you have bad days. And some days you don't understand what you're going through, but you just have to trust God. It's going to be some days where you're going to feel like anxiety going to come, It's going to be days where you don't feel like combing your hair. You don't feel like brushing your teeth. You're going to feel like putting on clothes. It's going to be all that stuff that happens. But, if you just take a minute to steal away just to get in the presence of God, he'll give you that burst of energy that you need. I do know that.
There's a scripture that said it was good that I was afflicted.
Yes.
And I midway through this process, that's where I got to, because I could see how God had worked some things in my life and was working some things in my life. And, we always talk about, I'm trusting God, I'm walking this out, but someday your faith is going to stand trial.
Yes.
And, I think that's what was happening to me during the cancer. It wasn't that I did not trust God. I was just tired of Satan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, have you dated? And how do men approach you when you tell them that you are a survivor?
What?
Either one of you.
I haven't dated. I haven't dated. And I know that book is gonna have to come. He's gonna have to come straight from heaven. I'm just saying. And when God get through making him for me, he's gonna have to go through my leaders, and then he's gonna have to go through my spiritual dad. It's a process. So I haven't dated, and I don't desire to date right now because God's still working on me.
Well, the reality for me has been anytime a man gets close, I put on track shoes and I start doing the moonwalk.
Okay.
Because I didn't have big legs. I didn't have big hips, but I had and so that kind of shook me. It rocked me as a woman. It's not what who I thought I was. And God just gave me an exercise,
a couple weeks ago,
where I have to stand in front of the mirror naked and tell myself that I'm beautiful, I'm loving, and I deserve God's love. Not his love, but I deserve to be loved. That was hard. because I've had the reconstructive surgery, but they don't look like they used to. And they don't act like they used to, you know. So that was hard for me. And I told myself that there was not going to be a man that would accept me for where I am and what I've gone through. And I understand that that was a lie. But I also understand that I had to get to contentment too.
For me, I reached out to one of my local artists and I asked him to paint a picture of me in the form of a mermaid. I'm a water baby, and water is very peaceful for me. And yet, I wanted this mermaid to be the truth, to be me with tiger stripes, to be me with, you know, my fupa, to be me with one breast bigger than the other, to because I'm extra. Y'all know with this good red hair, I even have her with some bling on a nipple, and so I have her over my bed. And so while I've been recovering for the last, it's been what? It feels like 6 months. I've been in the bed. Jesus.
You've been in the bed
Longer
longer
than
than
that.
that.
Okay. Okay. Since January of 20. I've been in the bed. And so I people are like, wait a minute. As long as she has that picture over her head, we know she in the bed. We know she recovered. But that was my safe place, because it make me realize you're still beautiful. You still in your happy place. I mean, I have a special relationship with my bed. Val called me or text me every day. You in the bed? Get out the bed. And so even now, I'm sitting on this good pillow because I'm. But yet, I had to see myself in that way. I mean, I had always padded my bra because I never thought I had enough breath. So, you know, for me afterwards, I was like, let me pat it some more. It was never a thing for me, but and I I have just found that men run from me. I don't even think it has anything to do with the cancer or the, you know, I just Lord, they just run. They just running. But it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's
They
the right
better.
one will. Right.
They better, yeah.
They better.
When it's time. But in the meantime, all of us are believers, and for people to know the truth, I'm glad that you guys have shared that you weren't always there in the yes, God, I believe you, I trust you. But what can you tell someone that is going through something? I mean, we're bringing awareness. Besides just go get your mammogram, go get checked. What can you share with them?
Well, I would just like to share, just in general, you know, a lot of African American women, they do not get annuals yearly, and that's something that, you know, we should do, and we should train our young daughters to do this, you know. And I'm so glad that I was able to get a, you know, have an annual, and I have been doing it, and I teach my daughters to do that, because I mean, not only cancer, is so many other things that can happen, diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, and you're not aware that you're going through this. It's good to just get a wellness checkup every year, you know, to make sure that you're well, you know. And you know, we don't do that, and it's something that we should force in the community. I actually went to a wellness conference this morning. It was very nice. You know, we need to be aware. There's so many things that we need to be aware of.
That's right.
And LaTracey, your name should be awareness.
I also believe that as African Americans, we have such a mistrust of the medical field, and justifiably so in some cases. And as Christians, we say God is our healer.
Yes.
And sometimes I believe we want to choose how we're going to be healed. And you're not always going to come out of this miraculously. There's some things you might have to go through. You know, because of sin, when it entered the world, so did disease and everything else. So there's some things we're going to have to go through. But just like we trust God, then we need to trust God to lead us to medical professionals who have our best interest at heart. And that's what I would say is be aware, know what your diagnosis is, whatever it may be, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, whatever. Know what it is, and then know how to take care of yourself. And be a team player with God, your doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that I would add is just know that your blood relatives may not be your support.
Yes.
Living here in Mississippi, I have an uncle that is not even an hour away from me. And yet I've been here 11 years. I've seen him, twice? And yet I've had to go through not only cervical cancer, brain tumor, breast cancer, partridge in a pear tree. In these 11 years of being here. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I don't get the common cold. Like everybody else. I get the stuff that I have to cry and lay prostrate on my face for. I've always joked and said, God allows things to happen to me because he wants other people to pray. I'm just the vessel. And so just know that your help may not come from those that are blood relatives. And to take care of yourself. I don't look like what I've gone through. I've had to take a pain pill before I even started this session. So you don't know what a person is going through, especially behind social media walls. Right. And so show some grace because you never know what you may be going through next. I'm honored. Some days I complain. Some days I will be honest and say some days I don't trust God. Let me just be honest. Because I'm like, God, when you going to heal me? How you going to heal me? How you going to send help? Those are the real questions that people don't always tell you. I mean, you can hear someone all the time say, oh, I just trust God. Okay. They may trust him today or at this very moment. But what about earlier? Was they trying to cuss him? I mean, let's just tell our truth. So just know that you do have support and that you're not alone. Valerie and Mama Ellie, what would you guys like to tell the people?
Keep getting up. Keep getting up.
Trust
Every
God.
day that you have life is a blessing.
Yes, it is. Well, the only thing I would like to say, this is October. It's the end of October. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Just don't be concerned about your breast in October. I mean, if you feel a lump, go get your breast checked. I mean, it can happen to anybody. It happened to me. And I said, the devil had to get permission because I know this trial was specially designed for me. And it was to test my faith. It was just awesome that you said it on Mama Ellie because I'm like, I said that the Lord, the only one can allow this. I thought about Job when I thought about Job. I said, oh my God, all kind of stuff. I'm talking about all kind of stuff, the woods, the river, and all kind of. I'd have been in all kind of situations. I trusted God, but never, I've seen people healed. God and used me to pray for people have been healed, and my own healing was something different. So, I'm like, okay, good. Why this? Not like why, like why cancer, and like why this? Like why this? You know what I'm saying? Like God, what you want out of me? You know what I'm saying? I asked God, what you want? He told me, you to be a voice in the vessel. I said, okay, I'm just trying to figure out, which way we going. And just get yourself checked out. Just make sure, I mean, if you have teenage daughters, just make sure that you take them. I mean, just children, make sure you take them to the doctor. They have their up to dates with their shots. They have wellness checkups, because when they check their blood, they find anything can be preventative, So I just make sure, you just get checked out, once a year, at least once a year. However
I'd
your
like,
issues.
I'd like to say also to women, if I have a chance, have the time, um, we are so responsible for everything. Everybody, we're responsible for our friends, we're responsible for our children, our grandchildren, our jobs, our husbands, whatever, we're responsible. And we absorb a lot, a
Yes.
lot. And if you don't have a healthy release, it is going to manifest in your body. It is going to manifest in your mind. So I would just encourage women, men as well, um, be aware of your situations, of your relationships. What is this person bringing to me? If every time this person leaves me, I say, "Whew, glad they're gone,"
Mhm.
then just be aware, because some things we walk into and we don't have to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know these preachers all on this call right now. I'm watching the time because anything is subject to shift on this video. And they got the cheetah print on too. Come on now. You never know what's gonna come up out of these ladies. It is turned real fast. I did entitle it Our Truth, so you never know.
Mhm.
But you know that I'm always here, and yes, I try to make light of things and try to be goofy about it. But that's my coping mechanism, because it's not always good, for me. Even going through other things, the breast cancer may be gone, but the tumor, all these different things, and so
Yeah.
life still happens, and just know that you're not alone. I thank you, ladies, for telling your truth, because people need to be aware and they need to know. I mean, I didn't know, um, by my breast check. Let me just say that. How I found out was because my hormone levels were too high.
Mm.
So I need people to understand you don't always know by just touching and
Mhm.
feeling. You have to go and get your blood work, your wellness check,
See.
all of those things. And so you never know. And African American women have a very high hormone level. Let me tell you a secret. The caffeine that we like, the chocolate that we like, the sweets that we like, they all have caffeine in them, right? You know how a lot more women of color have the hair, all up under here and the little stubble and all of that. That's all a part of hormones.
Mhm.
Even being horny, let's just be honest. They're very, very high in their drive, the high hormones. So if you have any of those things, please go and get checked out. It's not, I mean, listen, we grown. So you may have a high drive and you may be like, "Oh, that's normal." No, 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 no. It still may have something to do with hormones, and you need to go and get that checked as well, because it's not always a bad thing, but you want to
Mhm.
make sure that it's preventative of anything that it could be. So I like to share that as well, because a lot of people don't even think about it that way. They just think about, oh, well, let
The
me
love.
go and do a self check or a mammogram. So it can be found out in different ways. So please go get checked. Please have your annual appointment. If you do not have medical insurance right now, it's open enrollment. Please, please,
Mhm.
please go take care of yourself. Get what you need. If you need those resources where you are, just reach out. We will give you whatever resources you have. Valerie and I are in Mississippi. Mama Ellie's in Minnesota. But we have the resources anywhere, whether you're male or female. So please go take care of yourself, ladies. This is not going to be our only time, because Valerie said that she wants to get all into sharing these podcasts and having these candid conversations. So I'm gonna teach her
Yes,
how to do it, so I don't have to do it.
I like it.
Give her the platform, right?
Yes.
She's that vessel. That's her assignment.
That's the vessel.
That's it. That's it. I'm just gonna lay it on the line. So
Well, I wanted to just share one more thing before we go, because I know time is getting near. After women have their surgery, I had a mastectomy. I had a single mastectomy, and they took my breast, so I don't have a breast. And when you were saying you stand in the mirror and you tell yourself that you're beautiful, you deserve. I mean, I have to get up in the morning, and when I dress myself, I have to put on a prostate, so I won't be one-sided and lumpy looking. And so at first, when I had to do that, it bothered me. But the first 2 weeks, it kind of bothered me really bad. I was like, and when you allow the enemy to whisper in your ear, when you allow him to, he will have you on a roller coaster. So you have the power of life and death in your tongue. So you have to say, Satan, get thee behind me. Ain't wrong with me. I know I look good. Any man be happy to have me on one titty now. Okay. And I'm still gonna praise God with this one titty. You ain't did nothing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Amen.
Yes.
See, and we can still laugh through it. We really can.
Yes.
So when the right one arrives, I tell you. You'll be like,
ooh, what a day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes. Would you guys like to share your social media, or you just want to leave it open? Tell them to reach out and look for you. What do you want to do? Her eyes got big.
Because I don't know about all that stuff, honey.
Okay. You can reach Ellie Dildy on Facebook as Eleanor Dildy online. She was tagged in the video, as well as Valerie Smothers on Facebook. And Valerie is in the beginning stages of her new career, right? Because I'm over here prophesying, yes, because she is a vessel, and she wants to be the voice for people. She wants to have that candid conversation that people normally don't have with others, and using the online platform. And so I'm going to go ahead and be obedient and teach her how to do that, because that's what she wants to do. And I don't have to do it. Amen. So, I'm just saying, everything ain't for you. Sometimes it's for somebody else. So I'm just going to share that. So follow Miss Valerie and follow Eleanor Dildy online. And you all know me, Dr. LaTracey. And the secret that these ladies do not know is that this video is not only on Facebook, but it's also on YouTube. So it was recorded live on YouTube. Surprise! So I'll tell you all about myself after the camera goes off. But I just wanted to share that because, sometimes we don't always know the reason for our assignment, and we don't always know why we go through what we go through, but it's a reason. And so, you don't have to know all the details. You just have to have a yes. Yes. And so I just want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for those who are watching the replays. If you have any questions, please leave them below. We will definitely answer. If you have any comments, anything like that, or just want to reach out to anyone here, please do so. And you guys continue to be blessed. Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
I'm sick of Mama Ellen that pulled out the fan.
Girl, yes.
Jesus, it's hot over there.
Right. Like, this good menopause. Yes, I'm over here with the fan on me. Like,
okay, I ain't got a fan. My fan in my room. I'm like over here in a sweat. I ain't took my hormone pill, and man, Jesus help you.
Right. They don't know. They don't even know. Yes. But I appreciate y'all. This is the real truth. I mean, when you see us and we just be fanning it, yeah. And it be hot. And so just pass us some paper or a fan and get your right. Don't say nothing. All right. So you guys have an amazing evening, and we'll be around. So we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
God bless you.